Right now you are being pulled toward the earth. Every person, every building, every mountain, every ocean, everything around us exists exactly where it is. Because of gravity, it is invisible, silent, and incredibly powerful. Without it, our world would not exist. As we know it, gravity keeps the oceans in place, it holds the atmosphere around Earth, it guides the movement of the moon, and it keeps our feet firmly planted on the ground. We rarely think about it because gravity never disappears. It is always there, every second, every minute, every day. But imagine that something impossible happens. Gravity suddenly vanishes, not for a minute, not for an hour, but for only 5 seconds. At first, that might not seem like a very long time. 5 seconds pass quickly. You blink, you breathe, you take a step, and they are gone. But if gravity disappeared, those 5 seconds could change the world forever. Cars would leave the ground, buildings would begin to break apart. The oceans would rise, the atmosphere would expand, and millions of people would suddenly find themselves floating into the sky. The consequences would be immediate, terrifying, and unlike anything humanity has ever experienced. But could anyone survive, and what would happen when gravity finally returned? Today, we are going to find out. The countdown begins. 3, 2, 1. Then suddenly, gravity disappears. At first, almost nobody notices. Everything appears normal. The sky remains blue. The sun continues shining. The wind continues blowing. But within moments, something extraordinary begins to happen. Objects everywhere start losing contact with the ground. People standing still slowly rise upward. Chairs, tables, vehicles, and countless other objects begin floating into the air. Airplanes already flying continue moving forward, but the laws governing their motion have completely changed. Birds become confused, animals panic. Around the world, millions of people look upward in disbelief. In large cities, chaos begins immediately. Traffic systems fail, power lines sway violently, construction equipment drifts away from the ground. Inside homes, ordinary objects become dangerous. Televisions, computers, kitchen appliances, everything starts moving. Meanwhile, scientists around the world struggle to understand what has happened. Satellites continue transmitting information. Observatories collect data. Computers perform millions of calculations. Yet nobody can explain why one of nature's most powerful forces has suddenly vanished. Then, the situation becomes even worse because the ground beneath us is only one part of the story. The oceans are about to respond. The first second has passed. Now the oceans begin to react. Earth's gravity normally holds billions of tons of water firmly in place, but now that force has disappeared across the world. The surface of the oceans starts to rise. At first, the movement appears slow. Then, everything changes. Enormous masses of water begin moving upward. Waves grow larger. Foam fills the air. Ships lose stability. Harbors become chaotic along coastlines. People watch in horror as the sea behaves in ways never seen before. Fish, whales, and countless other creatures are suddenly thrown into an environment unlike anything they have ever experienced. Far above, tiny droplets of water scatter through the atmosphere. Powerful winds push them in every direction. Entire ecosystems begin to collapse. Meanwhile, scientists realize that something even more dangerous is happening. The oceans are not the only thing being held in place. Earth's atmosphere is also beginning to change, and without gravity, the very air around us could start to disappear. The next few seconds may become far more dangerous. By now, only a few seconds have passed, yet the world has already changed. The oceans continue to rise. Objects continue to float, and now Earth's atmosphere begins to react normally. Gravity keeps the atmosphere wrapped around our planet. It holds oxygen, nitrogen, water vapor, and countless other gases close to the surface. Without gravity, that balance begins to fail. The atmosphere starts expanding outward. Fortunately, 5 seconds is not enough time for Earth to lose all of its air, but even a brief change would create extraordinary consequences. Air pressure would become unstable. Powerful winds would develop. Cloud formations would begin to change. Communication systems could fail. Satellites would encounter unexpected conditions. Aircraft would struggle to remain stable. Meanwhile, millions of people would still be floating above the ground. Some would grab trees, buildings, and anything else within reach, others would be carried upward by powerful air currents. Panic would spread across the planet, but the most destructive moment would still lie ahead, because gravity is about to return, and when it does, everything in the sky will come crashing down. 5 seconds have finally passed. Then, without warning, gravity returns instantly. The invisible force that holds together our entire world comes back, and everything begins falling. People, cars, aircraft, animals, water, millions upon millions of objects rush downward. The results are devastating across cities. Glass shatters, roads collapse, buildings suffer severe damage. Objects that floated only moments earlier crash violently back to Earth. The oceans become even more dangerous. Gigantic waves race toward the coastlines. Ships are thrown in every direction. Harbors disappear beneath the water. Power lines fail. Communication networks collapse. Air traffic systems fall silent. Emergency services become overwhelmed around the world. Governments struggle to understand what has happened. Scientists continue searching for answers. Yet one question remains: could humanity recover from such an event? The answer depends entirely on what happens next, because even though gravity has returned, the consequences have only begun now. Gravity has returned, but Earth is no longer the same world. The damage would be everywhere. Entire cities could be destroyed. Transportation systems would fail. Power stations would shut down. Communication networks would collapse. Hospitals would struggle to continue operating. Millions of people would need help. Scientists would work desperately to understand what happened at sea. The situation would be even worse. Enormous waves would continue moving across the oceans. Coastal regions would suffer severe flooding. Wildlife would also face extraordinary challenges. Birds, fish, animals, and countless ecosystems would struggle to recover. The atmosphere would slowly return to equilibrium. The oceans would gradually settle, but the consequences could last for years, perhaps even decades. The global economy would suffer. Food supplies would become limited. Entire industries could stop functioning. Yet humanity has survived countless disasters throughout history: earthquakes, volcanoes, floods, and powerful storms. Once again, people would rebuild. Scientists would learn, engineers would adapt, and civilization would move forward. But one mystery would remain: could something like this ever truly happen? So, what would happen if Earth lost gravity for 5 seconds? The answer would be catastrophic. The oceans would rise, the atmosphere would expand, cities would descend into chaos, millions of objects would leave the ground, and when gravity returned, the damage would be immense. Fortunately, this remains a purely theoretical event. According to everything modern science understands, gravity cannot simply switch itself off. It is one of the fundamental forces of the universe. It controls the motion of planets, the movement of stars, and the structure of entire galaxies. Without gravity, the universe itself would be unrecognizable. Yet this thought experiment reminds us how extraordinary our world truly is. Every second, gravity silently protects us, holding the oceans in place, keeping the atmosphere around our planet, and ensuring that life can exist. Most of the time, we never notice it because it is always there. Constant, invisible, and incredibly powerful. Tonight, as you stand firmly upon the ground, remember that an unseen force is holding together everything you know, and without it, even 5 seconds could change the world forever. Thank you for watching, and we will see you in the next documentary. This is Rail Forge.